Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, welcome to the 2023 Victorian Disc Golf Open. I am Fergie and I have Emma Winkworth with me, fellow commentator.
Yeah, good morning. Good to be here today. Looking forward to seeing this battle between Sarah and Huss today and taking you all through it with us.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're at the fourth round of the Vic Open in Ballarat. We have our two FPO lead card, and we're about to get going.
Just give me a nod.
Should have referred somebody else.
Yeah.
Go for it, David.
Welcome everybody to the Vic Open 2023. This is your fourth and final round. We have in front of you the FPO card. First up on the tee, we have Sarah Lee, currently on -7.
Sarah Lee just putting one straight down the guts.
Beautiful drive.
Just landing on the right side of the fairway in the little bit of rough there, but it's a great spot.
+20.
Yeah, so there goes Huss. She's just landed over on the left there, but it's not too bad over on that side. So interesting today, a bit of a mix-up in tee times for the girls. So I wonder if the course is going to play a bit differently. Ground being maybe a bit wetter, wind conditions.
Yeah, they haven't teed off in the morning. The girls for the first few days. So yeah, a bit dewy out there in Newington Park in Victoria Park there. And here we have the girls walking up the fairway. I've got a feeling that would have been Huss's Redwood off the tee there in the Alpine Plastic. Sponsored by AGL Discs. Making some great plastic out of the US there in recycled materials.
And so as we're walking up this hole, I guess, what are your thoughts about hole one being on this for the course? Obviously, it's a different hole one to the standard layout.
Course, there's 27 baskets actually out on the course, so there's 9 holes which have an additional basket in an advanced position. This hole is one of those. Generally on the course, this would be hole number 6, and we'll just see what Huss does here to get back onto that fairway. There is a mandatory, probably on about that 5th tree, if you can see up there towards the middle of the screen. So she's got to skip one round. She's done well to put herself in a good spot.
Yeah.
To get up and down for par. Yeah, so it's definitely it's a difficult hole to start off on, and usually it wouldn't be the first hole, but for the tournament we've kicked things off here for a few reasons to get the headquarters there in the middle of the park, and just for I guess setting things up to be a better place to start for the tournament.
Yeah. Beautiful shot by Sarah just then. It's exactly what you want, I think, in the ladies' field. If you can be out around the end in your 2 shots, you're looking at a really easy shot for par, hopefully, just controlling your approach shot from there. So looking at the stats for this hole, I think we said that it was playing at about 4.5 as an average. So, not many people, especially in the ladies, are looking at birdies on this hole, right? If you can get the par, you're in a pretty good position.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we look back at round one, we've got they're playing at 4.5. Round two, again playing at 4.5. Round three, 4.5. So definitely playing over par. It is one of the more challenging holes to start off on. There you just got a little look at the mandatory right.
I actually love this hole. It's, a lot of people, they find it a challenge, but I think for me, I'm typically a low thrower anyway, so that ceiling doesn't really get into my head too much. It's just about playing it straight and smooth, chip away. But beautiful scenic hole as well.
There's Huss hanging out wide. No, she's done really well there.
She's in there. That's maybe a 3 metre putt.
Yeah, she's inside circle one. She's going to give herself all the chances to get the par, get up and down.
Beautiful.
But yeah, it's definitely a low ceiling shot. Pretty much this whole hole with those oaks quite low. So, but the ground play comes into play, and being quite hard, rocky kind of ground there, you can
nice
definitely
skippy ground.
Yeah.
Which we've been really fortunate for this Vic Open with the weather, and that it's not a wet ground. We haven't had any rain. I think it's been really great conditions.
Yeah, there's been a number of Vic Opens which have had absolutely rubbish weather, as we see Sarah just flick one up nicely.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You would not think that this was Ballarat, would you? To be honest, at the end of April. Usually it's kind of like 13 degrees and sleeting. But no, been blessed with some great weather.
I think I even got a little bit sunburnt out there yesterday, and I'm definitely not complaining. All right, so we just need to get this first hole putt out of the way. I think it's always a bit of a nervy one for me. Do you tend to get a bit anxious on those first hole putts and drives?
Oh, look, I'd probably get anxious on all 18.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
No, look, absolutely. You want to can this first one,
Yeah.
and again, yeah, you'd be happy with a par on this hole for the especially for the FPO field.
Yeah.
Sarah just letting the one out a little to the right, glance off the chains. Let's see if Huss can get up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
lovely putt
Great.
there. Pretty sure that'll be Huss's Douglas Fear putter.
I'm just cleaning up there for Sarah. Take the bogey, but not really that bad on this hole.
Hole 2 is a par 3, 100 metres. Go straight through here.
Hole 2, par 3, 100 metres. The basket has been extended and pushed back further to the left on this hole from the regular hole.
Yeah, it definitely makes it more challenging, and so this whole standard hole is one that I've always really enjoyed. It's just a bit of a straight shot, maybe a little bit of turnover if you don't have a sidearm, and you're really looking at a birdie chance. I think now with this extension and it's a bit more protected in the trees, for the women you're probably just really going for the par. I don't think we've seen any birdies in the women's on this hole. Correct me if I'm wrong. We might just check the stats on that. But
again, it's a pretty low drive off the tee. You've got to keep it nice and low. Otherwise, you'll hit some iron leaves and drop down and be scrambling to get your par.
And so I know that I've seen a few of the girls yesterday really landing over into the left, and it depends how deep you're in on the left then to what that next shot for your approach looks like. But also a lot of pine needles on the ground on this hole. So look, sometimes that skips for you, and sometimes they just kind of stick in or get a bit of a reverse roll even. So got to be really careful with your approaches into here too.
Yeah, so just looking at the stats there, 3.5 pretty much over the weekend. And even if we jump across to the FPO field, I mean, it's still playing as 3.11.
Yeah, so it's not an easy hole.
Nope.
But it's a good challenge.
I mean, even the first 5 holes of the course is pretty tough. Birdies are pretty slim.
Yeah, and I think it really you know, obviously disc golf is as much of a mental game as a physical game and a game of skill. But so starting in this harder position in the course where, you know, the first few holes quite wooded or controlled ceilings, really thinking about those placement shots can really set the tone for the rest of your game. If you don't start off well here, I think, you know, you have to have quite a good headspace to be able to turn it around again as things open up a bit more. All right, so let's see what Haas has to do here. Yeah, so she's getting in a bit left. Yeah, and so it's decent distance on that hole considering all of the woods on the sides. But yeah, just we'll have to see it when we get up there to what the approach looks like.
She put herself over to the left, so I think it opens up. She'll have an opportunity to put it under the basket. And Sarah Lee seems to have turned that one over to the right a little bit, maybe caught an early tree there.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of work there. It's a bit tighter approach on that right-hand side towards the basket, so we will see how she goes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's showing up on the camera there, but all that red ground coverage right there is the pine needles. So they're a bit soft and a bit bouncy.
It's a beautiful area of the park. The pines here. It's a testament to the whole park. Really, you've got lots of variation in the flora. It's a beautiful place for disc golf. Probably lacks a little bit of elevation.
That's the only thing I think that this course is missing. And look, I don't have a lot of complaints about that myself. Getting up and down hills is hard work. Yeah, it's one of my favourite courses in Australia, Ballarat. It's an absolutely stunning park. And massive park area, not just the disc golf course, but if we look at the wider park area and where we are now over in the club rooms, you know, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, so Sarah's tried for the kind of low, skippy forehand shot, but she's kind of, like Anne mentioned, it's kind of stuck into those pine needles and left her a bit short there, so she'll be either having a big run at to save par or just pitching up to...
Look, Sarah's a really strong putter, so, you know, I wouldn't put it out of her reach to putt from there, but it's definitely making it a bit harder.
No, she's 6 under par for a reason, that is for sure. And just to put that in perspective as well, I mean, she's been shooting some really, really hot rounds. I know yesterday was a 965 rated 4 under par, which I think might be the highest rated round by an Australian female.
Fantastic, yeah.
Which is huge. Here we have Huss. Just putting this one to about 3 or 4 metres.
Yeah.
Probably with their trusty baobab. The most weirdly awesome overstable disc one would have in their bag.
So I guess Sarah's come on the scene the last few years, right? And both Sarah and Huss have the ulti background, right? And we're seeing this influx on the back of COVID of ultimate players coming through and just really athletic, you know, probably a bit of a change in more of a casual player base to start with, getting a lot more focus and athleticism into the fields. Seeing these people come up and move to the top pretty quickly, it's really nice to see. And, you know, Sarah especially, such a focused player, really getting great results consistently now. And it's a shame we don't have Cassie and Tosh and some of the other open women here this weekend. It would have been nice to see how they would all fall against each other.
Lovely Haas.
Great putt from Haas.
Confident putt. Yeah. She's looking good.
And Haas had a really great round on day one. You know, I think she was actually leading for most of that round, and then she's, you know, had a couple of bad rounds on the back of that. But it'd be nice to see her claw a few strokes back today.
She's certainly doing that already.
Yeah,
she's already got 2
off
back.
to a good start.
Straight through here, we have a
Yeah, hole 2, we may have already seen this one, so we might skip across to hole 3 in a minute.
hole 3 is one of the standard holes. It's not an easy hole, but man, it feels good if you make it down here, you know, just to onto the disc, a bit of a turnover come and hopefully to fade back. And you definitely do have a birdie chance on this hole if you can get down through the woods. Fergs, what's your play on this? Are you typically doing a sidearm?
No, look, I'm when I'm playing this hole, I'm turning over a compass, just a nice kind of straight mid-range, just a little bit of turn on it, and let the lay of the land take the disc down, slightly downhill, very slightly downhill, but you just got to get past those first kind of guardian trees, and then, as you can see here from behind the basket, it does open up to a nice kind of wider green.
Well,
I had the fortune of actually designing this course. As with my business, RAD, Recreation Activity Design, shameless plug. And I was actually, really stoked with the design of this hole. It's I'm forever trying to kind of create a hole where, the turnover, backhand turnover is the shot. More so than those disgusting flex forehands that people tend to throw. No. But and just with the placement of the trees, it just lends itself towards that kind of throw. People do throw the sidearms a little bit, but I think the turnover is the way to go.
Yeah, and that's
exactly what Huss does.
Yeah, absolute laser beam there. Yeah, so she's got a putt from behind the tree. A really nice drive. And the hole here, I find even if you do get unlucky and hit a tree early on, you can still get up and down with a par. You can typically get through there. So you don't really want to be coming away from this one with a bogey.
And this one needs to turn. That's all right. She's cleared.
It's not too bad over on the left there.
Yeah, she's just outside the circle there. Or maybe just in it. Great drives there.
Yeah. Speaking of course design and RAD and some of the other brands that we've got out there, this, I think it's really contributing to obviously the growth of the sport is all of the people that are putting their time building up some businesses. We're getting, not just great players through, but we're getting great players through because we've now got the awareness. People know what's going on. There's courses around. There's the accessibility. You quite often, if you think 5 years ago, you talk to your friends about playing disc golf, they just look at you with a bit of a blank face. These days, you start talking to people about it and they're like, oh, I've heard about that, or, oh, I've seen that out there. So it's a real credit to all the people that are getting involved and making this into something bigger now in Australia. And it's, how many courses have we got now in Victoria?
Oh, geez, in Victoria, I think we've got at least 15 or so.
Yeah,
I mean, if you count some of the camp courses and things like that, not just the public courses, I think at least that many. And we've just ticked over 100 in Australia, which is great.
Which is fantastic.
And like you're saying, the growth of the sport's has been steadily growing over a few years. Obviously, we've had a jump in the last couple, thanks to the old spicy cough, getting a few people into the sport, which is good.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I started playing in 2006, there really wasn't much around at all.
No, you guys were taking out your own portables, weren't you, and making it all happen.
Here we have Huss just lining up her birdie run. That one sits down, should be all right for a tap-in par there.
Yeah.
Gave it a good bid. And so it's certainly kind of grown over the last few years, but we kind of kicked things off about 8 years ago, really kind of pushing hard with the course design and development side of things, and I think we've been involved in about 50 or plus installations now across Australia. So it's been great growth, and it's very exciting for the sport.
Yeah, great putt.
Beautiful putt. Sarah canning that one from about 8 metres. I think she looks pretty chuffed with herself.
Yeah, and look, that's one of the differences between Sarah and Huss is, Sarah's definitely a very confident player, but quite subtle in her, successes. Huss is such an energetic player, and we get a lot of passion from Huss. I really love watching her and playing with her for that side of it. It's really fun to be around.
She certainly does have a great energy.
Yeah.
Hole 4, 105 metres. This hole has been extended from the regular course layout design, which you can just see on the basket on your left-hand side. But we're going to the right. It's pushed back to the edge of the woods there. 105 metres, slightly uphill. What's the play here? How'd you go?
Yeah, so look, on practice round of this hole, I thought, maybe it's worth trying to get up into the right fairway. And I figured that was a bad mistake because you really have to angle it so much you don't get a lot of distance. So doing the turnover play down the standard fairway is the right line. And I've had good success getting down there, but again, the pine needles around the basket really kind of do some weird things to your approach shots. So it's a matter of just controlling it when you get up there. And I think we caught a tree there.
Yeah, so Sarah just taking that kind of slightly inside turnover shot there.
Yeah.
There's that one kind of main guardian tree, which you're either left or right of that?
I'm going the left of that. So I've been throwing a renegade actually down here, aiming at the trees on the left, and it's just been turning in quite nicely, actually gliding down. I've probably been landing, just fading back out a little bit towards the old basket, the standard basket on this, and then doing an approach from there, from my play. But yeah, just pretty close to the circle's edge there, so not too bad at all.
Yep.
I think that they'll both be coming away with probably pars here, but yeah. Hope for long putts. It's a nice hole. It's you do have to stop and think.
Speaking of Rad,
Here we go.
look at those baskets
The
right there.
baskets, yeah.
Hey?
So pretty good baskets. A lot of people with these portable ones as well, seeing those around and having them set up in the backyard, getting in a bit of practice putting, or we've had one set up this weekend in the Airbnb. We've played a few games, putting games with that. It's pretty good little things to carry around birdie light. But the baskets have been really good. Yeah.
You're not just saying that, I am.
No, I'm enjoying the baskets. I think they're really good. They're nice, solid baskets. The chains grab. And just actually the competition this weekend, all the signage, it's amazing. I think the baskets look great as well. You can see them. They stand out.
Yeah, big shout out to Disc Golf Victoria. Beautiful little turnover flick there. Yeah, big shout out to Disc Golf Victoria, Ballarat Disc Sports for putting on a fantastic event, headed by Matt Hill, the president of Disc Golf Victoria, and he's definitely taken on the lion's share of this event. And as we speak, he's even on camera, I believe.
He's down there. He's the official. Obviously, we've got two players today in the FPO card, so he's the official and scoring for us. Yeah. Absolutely amazing job this weekend of the competition, Matt. I've heard really great things from a lot of the players about how well run it's been, and I certainly enjoyed it as well.
Huss just taking a knee here to get herself lower under that branch.
A bit pinched under the branches, but yeah.
That's unfortunate. She probably would have given it a good run if she had a little clearer avenue to the basket, but that's all right. She'll get up and down and take her par. Yes, and Matt's out there scoring at the moment, and we've got Oscar Felberg and Ashley Widener on the cameras today. Doing a great job there, guys.
Hole 5, par 4, 206 metres. Big shot off the tee.
Okay, hole 4. hole.
Opens up to a big fairway.
Hang on, I'm getting thrown by the screen. So we're on to hole 5 now, right? So that was just hole 4. Hole 5.
On the par
Look, it's been a bit of a challenging one for me this weekend. It's really just, again, getting down off of that tee pad shot around the trees into a good position for your next shot, because it is a longer hole. So you need to get distance on all of the drives really down there. I'm interested to see which line Sarah and Huss take here, because there are options. You can go, you can go for the big Annie around the left and try and fade back in. You can try and go down the guts, or a lot of people and myself, maybe you're looking at a bit of a turnover through to the right, or maybe an S and shape back. So there's options, and some of the times that's when players like myself, we start overthinking things and maybe not making great decisions. But I'm sure these girls will be pretty confident in knowing what they're going to do here. And hopefully we see them execute that nicely. Yeah, so I think Sarah's lining up to go down that right side of those taller green trees.
I think maybe she might have got a little kick off the tree there and ended up on the left-hand side of the fairway.
Tree, yeah, but she's open, so she's not pinched in too much, I think, for her next shot, so it's not too bad.
Hustling the tee.
She's going the same line, so I think a lot of the women are taking this line. What about you, Fergs? If you're playing this, are you trying to go down the guts, or are you doing the Annie out to the left?
Look, I did, and that one might...
Ooh, early release.
She's hit that poplar there on the right-hand side. Yeah, so the course has been in the ground now for a couple of years. It was installed in 2020. And back then, actually, those poplars were a little bit skinnier.
Yeah.
So it was definitely the line for myself and for quite a few people to take straight, to go straight down the guts.
Yep.
But up a little bit now, and it's a bit of a tighter line to take. So I do see a lot more people kind of putting a big Anheuser out there to the left,
yep.
and having that kind of turn over and put yourself down just past that kind of pine there, or near that pine on the left hand side, gives you a nice wide open approach for your second. Sarah's just looking for her disc, and she's gone too far.
Yeah.
Back you go.
Yeah, she got a bit unlucky with that one. So I think it was day 2. I had Hayley on the card with me. She just massive crush down that right-hand side, got so far down. It was beautiful to see.
I like that play actually to go the right-hand side of those poplars, because if you don't execute your drive, if you're going left-hand Anheuser, you could get yourself in a bit of trouble and end up far out to the left, and then you've got yourself a huge second throw. But on the right-hand side, it's a little bit more controlled. Oh, she just absolutely mashed that one. Our catch cam there, just
trying to catch up.
trying to catch up to that one.
Yeah, so she's got massive distance. Sarah, it's really, really strong throw.
So Huss here, she's just pinched herself behind that poplar. She might have a bit of a funky stance to kind of get at and around.
Yeah, it does. Oh, she's got a little bit of space from the base there, so it shouldn't be too bad. So the decision is to cutting around the back of those trees or cutting in front of them.
I think she might have just had a little bit of trouble there
Yeah.
with those guardian trees on the right side of the fairway.
Yeah. And so that is I guess the getcha of this course. It's fairly wooded, and quite often when you're hitting the trees, you are dropping to the bottom of them, right? and you don't have much of a next shot. I know that got me a bit on day 1, just getting a bit pinched in.
Yeah, it's definitely a love-hate relationship with those trees.
Yeah. So we'll be coming up to the avenue next, which is, for me, I love hole 1 and hole 6 on this competition layout. The avenues, I think they're just so scenic and beautiful. I'm a mad tree lover. But yeah, you do have to control the shots and stay out of them with the discs.
Haas just putting another tough spot here. She's just managed to find this small pocket of trees here. I'm going to say she's probably got at least another 80 to 100 metres to the basket.
I'm just going to have to shape it a bit as well, which makes it hard. So we've got that line on the right. Is all OB. She doesn't really want to get out that far anyway. I wonder if she's going to do a bit of a turnover here. No, she's going the right side by the look of it. So a bit of a hyzer, but it's going to be hard to get the distance from that shape, I think.
Yeah, I think she's put herself just in the clear now, and it's a matter of just pitching up now and trying to get up and down for the bogue.
Yeah. So who have we got caddying for Sarah and Huss today?
I believe that is the local lad, Marlon. Marlon Gonsalves, sporting the a nice plaid jacket there. It's got a beautiful dog, Border Collie. That looks really nice.
Great upshot, yeah.
Yep, just maybe
Circle's edge.
touching circle's edge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so Border Collies, what's your dog, Fergs?
He is mental. No, he's a beautiful dog. I've got a Border Collie, Woody.
Yeah.
He's a blue merle, so he's got some nice kind of colouring and a
Stunning.
little blue eye as well and a brown eye. So yeah, he's quite striking to look at. But he's the goodest boy.
Yes.
He's the goodest boy.
They all are. They're our babies. Beautiful
Yes.
boy. I have seen you guys down there around the river.
Yes, down in Geelong there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And speaking of puppers,
Jasper's a cheeky
Jasper.
boy. Yeah. Jasper's half Irish setter, half retriever, and he's nearly 5, but he still acts like he's 6 months old. The energy is there. It's high.
Good
high
looking dog.
energy.
yeah, nice shape there from Huss. I think she might
Bit
have.
long even.
Yeah, maybe
She's
tickled a little bit long there, but
Yeah. Yeah, Jasper can't come out to frisbee. He loves to chase things, and he doesn't do a good job of the retrieving side though. He takes them and he runs away and dumps them in the middle of nowhere. So obviously wouldn't bring him to a competition, but it would have been nice to be able to take him out for some social rounds. What about you? Is Woody a disc-friendly dog?
yeah, like so. I mean, I guess he just had no choice, really, did he? With his old man selling frisbees for a living. So, no. Look, he's a fantastic disc dog. Actually, he can catch a frisbee very well. But the downside is that, yeah, if you take him out to play disc golf, he gets a little bit distracted, and he doesn't. I mean, he chases the discs, but he's not like biting them and all the rest of it. But yeah, he just gets a bit of white line fever. There's no stopping him.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually it's just a bit of disc time down at the beach.
Yeah, nice. There's plenty of good beaches to choose from near us. So it looks like Huss is just inside the circle's edge, under the trees there.
Get it? Oh, just a little low.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Oy, just hitting low left, bouncing off the cage.
Yeah.
She took her time there and really settled into that putt, but unfortunately just didn't execute to save the par.
Yeah. We don't always make them. I wonder as well with these ladies today if they're feeling a bit of extras having people following around and knowing the cameras are there. it's definitely something, an extra layer that you need to think about or try and zone out from, right? So
100%.
yeah.
So hole 6, you were talking about this before, Em. Talk
Beautiful
us through it. What do you do?
fairway. Oh, so look, I see the men playing this, and especially the open men doing great big sky annies and trying to get into the fairway or across the fairway and playing down the left-hand side. For me, I'm actually really just trying to do a laser beam and hyzer into the fairway from the right as a starting point and give myself a nice run down the guts, which again, the guts it's no easy feat because we have trees on either side, low ceiling, and there's a little bit of you're starting up a tiny bit of elevation, I suppose. So you're starting up and throwing under a ceiling, but down. Fairway is skippy. Look, it's as long as you get your first shot into a good position, I think you should be able to get up and down with a par. But I don't think we're looking at birdies in the ladies' field here. The distance and the control on the shots, it's a challenge. But I'm typically trying to go. You can see there's a bit of a wider gap into the fairway there on the left. I'm trying to skip a couple of trees in. It's a bit riskier because they're a bit more bushy up there, but I'm trying to get a bit more distance and break in a bit further up. Which I did succeed all 3 days of mine. So, yeah, similar to where Sarah's going. And hopefully you can... Here is... I'm not sure. Did she catch something even? Yeah, but I think she's not... She should be okay. We'll just have to see where that's landed exactly. So... What about you, Fergs? Are you, when you're playing this hole, are you doing the sky annie here, trying to get it into the fairway, down the guts of the fairway or across it, or are you doing something similar like us, trying to hyzer in?
Oh, I'm going the old man roller.
The roller,
just getting it over, and I mean, look, it is a very difficult first throw to try and penetrate deeper into those the oaks there.
Yeah.
So I get it on the ground and try and scoot through that way.
Nice.
Quite often the mistake is to turn it over though, your roller, and you'll be out to the right here. There's a small ditch before you get to a path. Still, you've got a good chance of kind of still getting a bird when you come in from that right-hand side.
Yeah.
But yeah, where we're headed now is just kind of onto, I guess, the main fairway, especially if you're playing the amateur basket, the yellow basket, which you'll see the players walk through soon.
Yeah.
It was interesting when designing this hole, actually, if you where the camera is now, if you kind of turn around, the avenue of trees extends, and it's quite a beautiful
stunning hole.
looking throw.
Absolutely stunning hole.
But I kind of decided to put it over there and kind of change things up a little bit and try and I guess create a bit more of an interesting first throw instead of just kind of throwing straight and then straight again. So
yeah.
And speaking of those low trees, Huss on the knees again, just trying to
there.
pitch one out here.
So that is the challenge. Breaking into the fairway is one thing, but you don't want to skip too far to the left, and this is what happens if you do. Here we just hearing a bit of that frustration. I think I just heard somebody talking about a mushroom. So there's beautiful mushrooms out in the park this weekend. Have you gone for a walk around? Have you seen all of the lovely mushrooms?
I did actually. The kiddos came up a couple of days ago.
Yep.
And we did have a wander around, and they were blown away with these crazy red pixie looking.
Yeah, massive. It looks like
mushies.
fairy gardens. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Happened to see a local bloke actually picking some, putting them in a bag. So I don't know if they're edible, though.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that maybe there might be some other use for them. I'm not too sure, but
yeah,
they know something more than I do.
Thought the red ones were a sign of not being safe to eat, and I know we always have there's warnings out about probably not picking mushrooms and eating them. There's death caps are a real thing. They look like standard mushrooms, don't they? But they're highly toxic. And beautiful to look at though, the red ones, and there's some quite massive ones out there. A few of them unfortunately getting chewed up by the discs, crashing into them this weekend. So yeah, look from here, you just got to keep it low. I'm typically trying to play for a bit of a skip approach. aim it a bit shorter of the basket and try and skip in with something stable.
I think Huss just keeping that one a little bit too low.
Yeah.
It does drop off there a little bit as you approach the basket in terms of elevation, just subtle.
Yeah.
But she still managed to kind of put that one into the ground a bit early, and it's scooted on, but she's definitely got a bit of work to get up and down. There you can see the amateur basket just nicely covered up by a black
Just
a
so
black
people don't get confused and aim for the wrong baskets. I've seen it happen at other competitions before, especially as you get fatigued a few days in. I wonder if anybody has landed into those baskets, so, you can break in through the bags, I suppose, accidentally.
I did see someone hit a black ace on hole 16.
This weekend?
Sorry, no, it's the course 11. My bad, course 11, the tee-off hole.
Yep.
Someone did get the black ace in practice before they put the plastic bag on.
Great
Beautiful upshot
Yep.
there from Haas. Should be happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, nice little flick up.
Yeah, so hole 6, just looking at the stats over the weekend in FPO, playing at 4.5 in round 3, and pretty much 4.5 over the whole weekend. So
Yeah.
a bit over par there, which is not to be, which is kind of to be expected. It is a longer hole, very challenging in terms of distance.
Yeah, I think in the women's field there hasn't been any birdies outside of the FPO division this weekend. It's been pretty challenging to get birdies on this course. Obviously, Sarah's got a negative score here, so she's managed to secure a few. But otherwise, the pars are playing pretty challenging for us. Yeah, great.
Love the confident putt there.
Yeah.
Little high, but those baskets doing a good job of dragging that one in.
Yep.
Yeah, to put in perspective, I guess as well, the MPO field hole 6 there, it's playing as a 4.16 as well, so playing over par for the MPO field. And Huss just cleaning up there.
I think that was a double.
Now we do have a bit of a walk now to the 7th hole, so hole 7, Emma.
Yeah, so things start to open up a bit more now around this side of the park. I think it gets a bit easier, but this hole is a challenge, so I think we still need to... it's just placement again, so the first shots are pretty easy, should be pretty easy, highs are out. And then, depending on exactly where you've landed, for again, just going for the women and our distance, we're typically then looking at a little bit of a shaped shot, a bit of an S to kind of go through that big guardian tree that's on the right and all of the poplars that are on the left, hoping to get down there somewhere in our second. Look, I've somehow managed to do my first 2 shots pretty well all weekend and then shanked the approach. So, it should be a gettable par for these ladies. There is potential for a birdie, a bit more distance here with these 2 girls, but I think they'll be looking for pars probably on this hole.
Yep.
Yeah, and then hopefully on the back of that we can get into a pretty consistent par or birdie run from here. There's less chance of bogeys, I'd say, at this stage. We've got through the more difficult holes.
Yeah, it's a nice hole to kind of exit the wooded area, as you said, and the course definitely starts to open up a little bit more now as you kind of come back towards, the northern part of the park.
This is latitude 64. The smallest of grains handled with the greatest
A
passion.
big shout out here to
Always
Latitude
trying to
64
improve, always trying
coming
to
on
be
board as a
better.
major sponsor for the Vic Open and
Out
for the
of
Vic Tour.
curiosity,
And some great
excitement,
discs in the players'
thrill.
packs as well.
For the player and the sport.
Yeah, I think you've got
Because we
some
want to
here.
make
A bit of a
field
mix
golf
of
awesome for you.
trilogy, not just latitude discs, isn't it? So I know I bagged a trespass out of the players pack. It's one of my main go-to drivers, but certainly with the latitude, the compass is there as well, right? So we've got some. What have you got there?
That's Trespass.
Trespass.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
there
think
you
it's in the
go.
burst plastic too,
Yeah,
which
we've
is
got
really
the
sweet.
burst, but the shimmers. How sexy are those?
Look at that.
Get into the shimmers.
Great stamp there. Shout out to, I think it's Justin over in SA in Mount Gambier for coming up with that design.
Stamp,
Beautiful.
yeah, beautiful stamp. The
It
Ballarat
reminds me of
gold.
old Stinky Pete.
Yeah,
Stinky Pete from Toy Story.
yeah.
Yeah, so the basket's out to our left here. Really the main line is to take.
Ooh,
Sarah just turning that one over a little bit.
yeah,
But
I wonder if I don't think there's much wind about this morning, but there could be a little bit of headwind now because we've changed directions a bit on the course, right? So you do sometimes get that headwind and it does tend to pull you.
so I was just looking to get this one around to the right of those trees and just land in that grass
On the
area
left,
there.
yeah.
Maybe somewhere near the shadow of that tree would be nice. And she's done a good job.
Yeah.
So she's kind of there's the main kind of guardian tree for your next throw. You either want to be kind of right of that or left of that, depending on whether you've got the distance to kind of go straight. But she's definitely kind of out in the open there, so she's given herself every chance to get herself down there for a bird.
Yeah, so speaking of the stamp, so that's a play on the history of Ballarat here, right? We've got a gold miner here holding a disc that is dug up that is as precious as gold. And we had out here this weekend a golden nugget hunt, right? That was a bit of fun.
Absolute genius there from Matt Hill, putting together the gold nugget hunt.
Yeah.
There was one gold painted rock on each hole.
Yeah, it was really fun. I know it. That was on day 2 of the competition. Ariana in my card found one on this hole, actually, into the right in the bushes there. So the nuggets were not hidden in the fairway. So if you were playing well, you were not finding gold. You had to be in a bit of trouble. I think I heard one guy on one of the cards found 4 nuggets in his round. So hopefully
I don't know how his disc golf was if he was finding all those in the rough. So
exactly right.
But he looks like he probably walked away with a number of vouchers for the store.
Yeah.
I know there were some vouchers being, I think there was a whale sack up for grabs as well.
Beautiful.
The hearts have brought over.
So there's some really great prizes this weekend as well. I know that the trophies and prizes, we had obviously the AM division presentations yesterday. We only played three rounds.
Great drive there from Sarah. She's just turned that over beautifully around that main kind of guardian tree. That's a great drive.
Really big distance actually from that position as well. She's really, she's just a next level player.
But yeah, some great prizes over the weekend.
Yeah. So, and obviously we've had the shop set up every day. It's been really well run, this competition. You of course were there manning it each day.
I was
working hard.
Working hard, hardly working. No, it was great. It was nice to have the store set up at the headquarters there, and lots of people very keen to buy some plastic after their round. There's a bit of water on the course, so that it's always handy for the pro shop when people are throwing theirs in the drink.
A few lost discs.
Huss just keeping that one nice and low as she had to, and she's done well. She's found herself a little bit of trouble there, but there's good chance you can be able to pitch out here.
You can get out, yeah. It's not too blocked in there. It's not an ideal position, but you can get down, get low, and throw out from there. towards
Speaking
the
of those
basket.
golden nuggets, I think Anita, Tobias Weber, absolutely dominated that one as well. I think they found at least 4 or 5 themselves out on the course.
And so were they finding these during their round, or did they go on a separate
No.
gold nugget hunting mission?
Absolutely. After the round,
Yeah.
they went
yeah,
out there
lovely.
hunting for gold.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun. Anita had an absolutely crushing round yesterday as well. She's a real up-and-coming player, plus 11. So she's 15, I believe, Anita. She's just stepped out of juniors into intermediate. Yeah, really, really great talent coming through at the moment.
Absolutely. Anita's on the flying disc door team. She's one of our aces,
Yeah.
and she's fantastic, and not just in disc golf either. She's actually quite a skilled open water swimmer.
Oh,
So
I
she does
didn't know
open,
this.
yeah. She does ocean races.
Yep.
I think she was down at Point Lonsdale over summer doing an ocean race. She swam one division, won it, and then walked back to compete in the next division. So
Just
quite
athletes.
absolute athlete. So get some legs there to skip up.
Yeah.
Huss doing good to come out, just a little bit short. She's probably just on circle's edge there.
Yeah, so I think there's quite a few players this weekend that are flying aces. How are they all stacked up?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
they're really good. There's of course, there's been a mixed bag in terms of results for players, but everyone looking great out there in their shirts. And speaking of good shirts as well, I can see Sarah wearing the Heiser Flight there. She's I think this is her 2nd or 3rd year with Heiser Flight.
Yeah.
And she's definitely representing the brand there very well, coming out of South Australia.
So we're seeing each year more and more sponsorships, more and more sponsors and companies as well. So it's all testament to the growth of the sport, right?
Absolutely, lots of shops popping up selling discs and giving people the chance to get some plastic. It was a bit different back in the day.
Yes. Yeah, so I remember,
Just a little
really
low there.
hoping she's going to get this one. Yeah, so look, I think it was maybe 2015, 2016 when I started playing. I'm not quite sure. And wow, it's changed since then, right? We didn't really have any stores. We're hunting them down. We didn't, we only had a couple of courses. And even when you went out to play, you'd look around and you're the only ones out there, right? And these days there's people constantly playing out on the courses. And we're just seeing more and more people coming out. It's really great to see. And obviously Sarah's just cleaned up her par there, which, to be able to do that from, not a great drive, turning it over at the start point was, a really good job.
Hole 8, par 4, 100.
Hole 8, another par 4 of our stretch of 3 in a row. 175 metres, playing very, very slightly downhill. Off the tee, you kind of just want to give yourself every chance to kind of land in the open, and then playing just around some guardian trees there towards the basket. Very gettable par 4, as it has been, as most of the par 4s are on the course. But you can find yourself in trouble.
Yeah, so look, I'm typically hoping, I'm aiming out towards the red tree on the right and hoping kind of I'll fade just past it and, left a little bit into the fairway. But I think aiming even more left to start with isn't a bad approach either because it's pretty open there. I think it just comes down to how much distance you're expecting to get out of your shot. We can see one of the other ladies from the Open, not the Open, but the women's divisions, Anna, on the camera there as well. How many ladies have we got overall in this competition? We're seeing the women's field grow every year. And even without some of our regulars here this weekend, we've got some pretty good numbers. Yeah, so Sarah's just gone straight up the guts there. Just, yeah, landed just in front of that red tree in terms of distance. And it's going to fade. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's pushed
beautiful.
under. Great. Yeah.
Great distance there from Haas.
Yeah, so that's the risk, that's the same line I'm taking, throwing at the red tree and hoping to fade. The risk is obviously you might. But she's got through, so that's good.
Absolutely. I think I saw Mr. Paddy Robertson in there yesterday in that same tree, but Haas has managed to scoot through, and she'll definitely have a nice open shot to be able to get down there for a chance at a bird. 21
women.
21
yeah,
women is what I've just quickly counted up there.
Thank you for doing that.
Just across, I mean, at least kind of 6 or so divisions, which is fantastic because for a long time there, there's been very minimal kind of women's participation in the sport, but things are certainly changing, and even just the fact that we're sitting here commentating on a live stream of the FPO field, it's fantastic and just testament to the growth of the sport and just the professionalism in which we're heading.
I'm not sure, that might have even been Kate as well. So yeah, a couple of ladies following from the other divisions, which is nice to see.
There's Sarah there, muscling a disc out of the bag from Marlon. So the basket's just tucked to the left behind these kind of 4 or 5 kind of large guardian trees.
Yeah, so look, play here I think is to keep it a bit more to the right, just keep it open and safe, because if you get pinched into that bush, it's not great. Look, she's managed to get right in there. That's amazing. That's a great shot.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really good. See if Huss can do the same. Yeah.
That's staying
good.
straight. Beautiful.
Yeah. Bit of a longer putt, but she should be able to give that a good crack.
Great work there. Yeah, so Sarah Lee, hole 8 over the weekend, she's gone par, par, par. And she's given herself a very good opportunity of going one better.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good get.
Some great camera work there from our very skilled camera operators we can see there in the shot.
We've got Oscar. Oscar's walking along there with the camera.
A massive shout out to all the crew who've put this together. We're on the cans to Toph, who's sitting up there in Bendigo doing the mix and doing a fantastic job. We've even got a Starlink satellite thingamajiggy sitting outside there, making sure that that the connection doesn't fail and that we're getting some really good, smooth video rolling through. So, absolutely fantastic.
And this is the first time that we're doing this live streaming, live commentary setup, outside of a Facebook feed, isn't it? It's really good to see.
Yes,
great part.
And the fist pump, absolutely.
Yeah, great get.
smooth, confident putt.
Yeah.
There we go. Is there, so, correct me if I'm wrong, is that 2 birds?
For Sarah, yeah. Oh, for both of these girls on this hole, yeah. Yeah.
I think it was. Well,
2 birds.
I think I'm going to have to shake the old AGL
Let's
discs.
do it.
Birdie bell. There it is. There it is. Beautiful. Get yours now. Birdie bell at the Flying Disc store. Well done.
It's a shame the girls didn't shake the chains.
I think if Tim Bowen was there, he probably would have done it for him. Hole 9, par 3, 122 metres. It's definitely a long par 3.
Yeah.
You're sighing, Emma. No good.
This hole, it's prison, isn't it? So we've got the baskets right behind those that line of trees. It's caged in. Look, I think I've played it pretty well this weekend actually, but the past couple of years playing this hole, I've really struggled with my approach, and I've been unlucky. I've hit a tree and pushed away, and so it's been pretty hard to get a par. But just trying to shape that approach shot in close to the basket. It can be a challenge depending on where you land, but I think these ladies are going to do pretty well with that.
All right, FPO!
Here we
There's
go.
Hayley getting excited. And why not?
Yeah, so look, for me the play on this is I'm pushing the green tree on the right and hoping to fade on the first shot, get as much distance as I can and try and make that approach in around the trees easier. I don't really want to be trying to push through the trees at all. I'm always trying to do a bit of a hyzer around the side of the trees for that approach. But these girls have a bit more distance. They might be trying to get right up there. Maybe a look at birdie. Have we seen any birdies on this hole from Sarah?
Just looking back over the last couple of rounds, hole 9, we're looking at a bogey, a par, and a par.
Yeah.
So hopefully she can go another one better.
Yeah, it's not an easy hole, but it's a good hole. I do like it. I just see those trees and it makes me cringe because I've had bad experiences in the past, but it's been good to me this weekend. Here we go. Yeah, nice
It's not a bad
drive.
shape. A little low, but that's scooting along nicely for her.
Yeah, probably not as much distance as she would have liked, but it's, shouldn't be too hard to get up from there.
Sponsor here, Bin Chicken Discs. Bin Chicken Discs. New on the...
Yeah, and they've supplied the 3D printed minis that are recycled plastic in the players packs, right?
Not even 3D printed.
It's
actually,
not?
no. It's actually It's actually molded. These are
right.
pressed. Yeah, using recycled bottle caps.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
really
so
cool.
doing a fantastic job there. I happened to see the molds myself, and this is the first run. But I think that there might be some more coming out down the track. So
Exciting. Yeah. So I saw some green, blue, and red ones out there. I'm not sure if there was any other colours, but they're all looking really great. It's really nice to see some recycled materials being used.
absolutely, we do use a lot of plastic in our industry.
disc golf.
We don't like throwing it away, but if we can certainly kind of reuse what's already out there for the sport, then it's going to be a win-win.
Yeah, and so this is something to do with AGL, isn't it? With their plastics.
Yeah, so I think the majority of their plastics are certainly, maybe not 100%, some perhaps are 100% recycled. Just looking here at the woodland hemp, actually. I know this is a bit of a go-to for Huss. It smells great, actually.
Feels good.
Have a whiff of that. Yeah.
Yeah, nice disc. She might be throwing one of those
She
as
might
we
be.
speak.
Right now. She might have just been caught up in those guardian trees there.
Listen.
A little bit pesky.
So look, depends where you land, right? You could have a putt through the trees. It makes it a bit more challenging. I really just want to be under the basket and not really be stressing about putting on this one.
That's where I like to be all the time. Sarah here, just weighing up her options. Flick, maybe a little highs around. Is she going to give it a run?
She loves a bit of a flick approach, Sarah. She's definitely one of the stronger sidearm players in the women's. Yeah, perfect.
Smooth.
Look at that, and this is why.
Just making it look all a bit too easy there.
Yeah, it's just like second nature to her to release the disc like that.
Obviously, we touched on before both Sarah Lee and Huss and their experience and history in Ultimate definitely coming into to play here. And there's definitely a reason why they're some of the top players in Australia.
Yeah, looks a really challenging putt for where she's placed. If she was in a bit closer to the tree, it'd be a bit easier to push through. So she's going to have to decide, is she going to risk trying to push through,
Go the V.
try to get the distance and the control?
Yes, Huss, do it.
Yeah.
Camera's just set up perfectly here to catch this one. Yes, she did. Yes,
okay.
she did. Oh,
See the passion. I just
Shakes
love
the
it.
booty.
The energy from Huss. Really fun player to watch. So the ulti game, I think that really does help with what I'm seeing as a trend among all of the ulti players, women and men, is they have strong sidearm and turnover shots as well, which obviously really good shots to have in your bag.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying, just having that background and being able to throw one disc very, very well definitely helps when you transition into disc golf.
So this next hole, look, they're taking us down the right-hand side as the fly-through in terms of a bit of a fairway. So this is one of the holes where we've got an extension on the basket from the normal layout. Normal layout, the play for me and most people I see is just a soft turnover down the guts. And I've still been trying to take that line, maybe just get a bit more on it for the extended basket. The right-hand line for me, I find it really risky to get around that first tree, and I've seen a lot of people hit that.
Yep.
Of course, so this is one of those holes that has a lot of options, so a well-designed hole by you. Even on the classic layout, you've got the sidearm, and a lot of people that are sidearm players are just going that. I think probably earlier this year I saw one of the guys get a sidearm ace into this hole. It's great to see. What's your play?
Yeah, look, I'm definitely taking the left-hand line, being a more of a turnover kind of thrower, not so much a sidearm. That's definitely the angle for me. For either the classic hole or the tournament layout hole. But I have seen a number of the field taking that right-hand gap. It's a lower ceiling, and you've really kind of got to punch it and get some legs to get down there the green. But it does open up to that.
It's more open on the right down further, but getting down there is harder. So look, the turnover shot, I think I've 2 out of the 3 days I've faded out, and so I've ended up on the left. But depending on where you land, it's still a pretty easy par. Really, I think I've still parred it each day from there, as long as you're not really pinched behind a tree. I think that these girls are going to do that. I think that they're going to be going for the turnover shot. So we'll see shortly. I think they just said that there's a break happening now, but we'll see that shortly. I think that we're probably not going to be seeing enough distance to get birdies on this hole with the shape and control that you need as well, but it would be good to see. Have we had, what's this playing in terms of stats for the women?
Yes.
Oh, you're looking at open. Yeah,
well, looking at open.
The boys.
So
mixed.
Yeah, so hole 9, we've got an average of 3. So really, it's just kind of playing as par.
It's playing as par.
It's definitely. I mean, if you're getting a birdie on this hole,
This is
you're
latitude
taking one
64.
on most of the field, I would say.
The smallest of
and our
grains
FPO
handled
field.
with the greatest passion.
Again,
Always trying to improve.
you're looking
always
at an
trying
average
to
of
be
3.
better.
So, if you're getting into trouble, you can certainly get out of that. And get up and down for your par. But
Because we want to make
there is
disc
OB
golf
long behind the
awesome
basket.
for you.
So if you do something a bit weird on your approach, you might be in trouble. But you know, the creek bed along the left, you know, in the past that's been OB, and that could be a bit of a hazard, but it's not OB for this competition. I haven't seen anybody really fade out that far anyway.
So we're just walking now towards that 9th tee. Huss just having a little bit of a
Re-energise.
Re-energise on the old
She's got to
potassium.
Fuel that passion.
10th tee, excuse me, my numbers are wrong. Yeah, so just darting back actually to I was reading the ninth tee's stats, sorry, 9th hole stats before,
Yeah,
but
so
the 10th is actually playing as a 3.21
so harder
for the MPO.
Yeah, right.
So it is definitely playing a little bit harder.
Yeah, so you see here, so we're facing really down that, you know, the direction of the tee pad is the right-hand gap, hyzer line, but you can see the classic basket was over on the left, and we're zooming into the new extended basket. I mean, I wouldn't suggest going straight through there, but yeah,
I'll live a little M. Why not? Just a frozen rope straight at it.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think Sarah's lining up the turnover, and it is a really nice shot when it comes out. Yeah, so that looks like it's pretty well executed there.
Yep, that's scooting
Yep.
through.
Yeah.
She have a long bit at it too. Huss lining up the hyzer.
Oh,
So we're going to see
okay. So
the straight line. Yeah, so we're going to see both.
I feel like it looks a lot more open on camera than it feels when you're on the tee pad. But we'll see how this plays. Yeah, see.
It's got to get down a bit. Okay, I think they did manage to scoot through.
Got through, okay.
Go around. The numbers on it say -2, but that is not a -2.
So we can hear the girls just discussing the flight of some of their discs at the moment. So disc selection's a big thing, right? And I asked the girls earlier, what are some of the main discs that they're throwing this weekend? Let me just bring this up and check it out. So yeah, so for Sarah, she's throwing her river a lot this weekend, and I've seen a lot of people throwing rivers a lot this weekend. Testament to what we've just been talking about, turnover shots being quite a feature of this course. River's a really good turnover disc. I think even Huss mentioned that she's got one in there. Then destroyers and graces being main drivers for Sarah as well. Obviously where we're going for
Definitely a nice
straight.
balanced bag there from Sarah. Some good name disc there, especially the Grace. It's definitely a bit of a hot disc at the moment.
Yes, yeah.
Sold a few of those on the weekend, let me tell you.
The Tatar,
That's
beautiful
crystal Tatar.
stamp. And look, speaking of Tatar, hasn't she just blasted through Champions Cup?
Yeah, she's doing something pretty special
She
at the moment,
is a
without a doubt.
powerhouse. Yeah.
Huss giving it a run. A little short, but easy little tap in par.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of feel like Sarah is our Tatar at the moment. Really exciting player. Leaving the rest of us for dead sometimes.
So she's got quite deep in circle 2 here, but she's going to give it a bit of OB behind, but why not? Give it a run.
Like if anyone can do it. Yeah.
Online, just a little low.
Beautiful line.
Yeah, no, Kristen Tatar is just absolutely dominating world disc golf at the moment. Regardless of any division, she's just absolutely smashing it, shooting some ridiculous golf. I think I forget what the streak was of her podiums. She'd been top 3 for, I don't know, some ridiculous amount of weeks, amount of tournaments, and then she didn't make the tournament. She didn't make the podium, and people made a bit of a thing about it. And then she's just backed it up by saying, "No thanks, I won't hear that," and just slayed everyone. So good on you,
Yeah.
Kristen Tatar, smashing it.
Hole 11, par 3, 98 metres.
Hole 11, the tee-off hole. There you go.
Yeah.
My fellow podcast boys there, Mr. Tim Bowen and Paddy Robinson.
Yeah, you're no stranger to being behind the mic, hey folks.
Oh look, yeah, I don't mind being behind the mic. It's not too bad. The live stuff's a little bit different, but yeah, definitely enjoy the tee off.
Yep.
Bit of shenanigans with the boys there.
Yeah.
I just chime in with a bit of smack talk every now and then, but no, it's definitely getting a bit of traction in the old podcast, and same with the throwers there. Melbourne-based boys coming out with some
Having a
gold
bit
as
of
well.
fun.
So
Yeah.
absolutely, it's really good. It's good for the scene. Had a few people pop up on the weekend saying they listen to the podcast and they look forward to when it comes out and what have you. So yeah, it definitely puts a smile on my face, and it's good to know that if the people are enjoying it.
The players are just living and breathing disc golf. There's the more content that's out there, the better for a lot of these guys and girls out here. So it's great to see. So this whole look for me, my distance, I want to be out wide on the right on this. I don't want to get pinched in on the tree, and I just want to open up the approach and try and get a par. Sarah's got a lot more distance than me, so she might really be trying to get right up in that opening off of the drive.
Yeah, that's mashed.
Yeah.
She's just going to make sure it sits down, doesn't get too. So yeah,
She's okay there.
She's doing very well. I mean, she's almost hitting the corner. That's a very. I mean, it's got to be at least 100 metres or so to that corner.
Yeah.
So if you're getting anywhere near there, that's a great drive.
Yeah. With a controlled shot as well. It's not big open shot.
And to put it in perspective as well, hole 11 on the weekend has played in FPO. And again, another mash. Haas just getting onto it.
Bit shorter. So this is where it's a bit tricky with where she's landed to really shape it in now. And I've even seen some players get to that point and decide to try and push through the bushes, which I don't recommend if you're on the outside. I think if you're in, there is a bit of an opening. You can try and push out, but I wouldn't try and go through it from this side of it. Bit of a tricky upshot though for her.
It is a tricky one. I've seen people turning the disc upside down and scooting it through on the top of the disc to try and slide through and out of those oaks there.
And of course, because it's not just the oaks that you're facing here, you've got the water hazard behind the basket on the other side as well.
And we'll definitely see that once the catch cam gets behind the basket. You'll see that there's the basket is kind of out on a bit of a little peninsula there, I guess. Surrounded by the out of bounds. But yeah, only from what I understand, only 2 birdies this weekend on this hole.
From the entire field.
The entire field, 2 birdies.
And who
I believe
was it?
Dan Frost.
Yeah, great player from Canberra.
Eddie Frost himself. He took a 2, I think, in the first round, and then maybe the second or third round has. Oh, geez, I forget his name now. Estonian Finnish player in MA1 maybe. Anyway, so 2 so far. We've obviously got the 4th and final round today, so we'll see if anyone bags a birdie. But definitely playing pretty tough. But also, I mean, here it's the FPO field are averaging just 3. So
yeah, I'm wrapped if I get a 3 on this hole. I think more often than not I am bogeying this one.
Huss having a good think about it.
Yeah,
like you said, definitely a tricky spot.
Yeah.
She's probably going to be forced to try and get something high and around the corner. It's a very sharp little angle there she's got to hit. So
yeah, which is again why I just try and stick wider if I can. Obviously it comes down to executing it though.
Just playing it safe there. Not so you can see the flags there just on the edge of the water, so you don't want to push it too long.
Yeah.
But she's got a bit of work to hit, probably a 15 or 16 metre putt there to save par. But yeah, as you can see here, Sarah almost making the corner. That's a mash. It's a big drive.
Great
so
shot.
again, though, she's a little bit pinched, but she's got that trusty flick.
Yeah.
Or hyzer. She's thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a nice little hyzer in there. Ooh,
Sit.
don't get a bad
Sit.
roll.
There you go.
Haven't seen too many bad rolls on this course because it is obviously quite a flat course, but you do get them occasionally. I know, we'll get around to it in a few holes or so, the elevated basket, and if you miss the basket on the elevated one, you can obviously roll away. It certainly happened to me.
Just low.
Beautiful hole though, another beautiful hole.
It is, and in fact, it never really meant to play that difficult. The original hole design, and still on the tee sign, actually has the yellow amateur basket inside the tree line.
Yeah.
So there was a plan to actually open up the trees a bit and have an entrance, a line into the trees, and that's where the basket was going to be. But unfortunately, the council went on board with that at late notice. So the yellow basket, the amateur basket, was pulled out. The blue here, the advanced basket, stayed where it was. So
that's a shame.
Just chaining out, hitting right side. Bit disappointed with herself. She did it. It was a great drive to get there. Huss with a little bit of a tailwind putt.
So you can see there's a bit more wind now from the look of the movement of the flag as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the next couple of holes. We're out of the woods, and I guess, the wind does just tend to pick up in Ballarat during the day. So this hole, look, I'm a bit disappointed that we don't have this as the hazard island that we've had in the past. I thought that was a fun challenge. I don't think everybody else felt as enthusiastic about it as I did. What's the play for you on this? Are you trying to go around the outside of the trees, or are you trying to go through the guts?
Yeah, I mean, as the standard course itself, there's obviously no out of bounds, well, apart from behind the basket.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually come into play where the road is. But, yeah, as you were saying, there has been a hazard play before where you've got the garden bed.
Yeah. The barked area.
The barked area,
yeah.
Kind of roped off or painted off to be a hazard or out of bounds, and really forcing then people either to kind of go around the left with a big turnover or sidearm, or risk it and go over through those pines on the direct line to the basket. So as a place for me, I just like to go straight 64. At it. But if I'm feeling a bit frisky, I might go the flick and skip it in.
And that's where I'm seeing people get really under the basket more often than not, is that
out of curiosity,
I'm going down the guts, and typically I'm towing. I like something a bit more stable, so I'm typically then skipping off to the left a bit anyway at the end. So we're over in the clubhouses. Look, other side of the park from the disc golf course, and we've got the ultimate nationals happening over this side of the park, and we can hear there's been different cheering and different things going on in the background. There's definitely some birthday celebrations as we speak right now.
There is.
The background. So the nationals for Ulti, we were just talking about this earlier, Fergs. How is that lined up with being in the same park, the same weekend as the disc golf Big Open?
Yeah, so I mean, generally, well, for the past 10 plus years now, the Vic Open has been always held on Anzac weekend, which is why we're playing here on a Tuesday, because we've extended the event to cover 4 days. So we've always had this weekend, but this weekend is also as you said, the Nationals for Ultimate, Ballarat Disc Sports being the host, and that's also being played here in Victoria Park. So it was a cool event organised to the location of Ballarat again for the Vic Open.
Third year in a row, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah, whereas we've traditionally had Geelong and Melbourne and back, and then Ballarat. It's obviously come into the play since then, and we've stuck here. Do you think we'll be back here next year?
I don't think so at all. No, I think it's definitely time to push it on. It was good to combine the event and just have a whole complete festival of frisbee.
Yep.
I know Subway across the road was getting smashed over the weekend, and I heard them talking about the fact that all these frisbee people were over there playing, and I did explain to them what was going on, and they thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I think definitely the Vic Open will hit the road again next year. I'm not too sure where it will be hosted. There's definitely some great locations, in particular Bendigo.
Yeah, a lot of new courses as
A
well.
lot of new courses, yeah. So Bendigo's got a great course there at Quarry Hill Park on the golf course. It's currently the 9-hole course, but there has been an 18-hole layout played out there before. I mean, with a full clubhouse and amenities, it would be an ideal location to, I think, extend the sport and give it a trial in another regional area of Victoria.
Yeah, another beautiful park there. And one thing that they have compared to Ballarat is the elevation, right? So you can have a lot of fun throwing up and down those hills. They still have a water hazard. In fact, I got a message from somebody a couple of weeks ago that they've retrieved one of my discs from the dam in Bendigo. So that's waiting for me to pick up.
Yeah, so Sarah here just throwing that one a bit low.
And
I just had Toph in the cans actually up in Bendigo telling me that the Quarry Hill's only a couple of minutes from his house.
Ah, beautiful.
So, so I think he's definitely keen to see the event travel up there, and maybe we can get on the live stream again.
And is Toph a player as well?
I do believe Toph is an ultimate player, but I think... Don't be so...
Thought we were going for the basket there.
Huss giving it a good little nudge there.
Yeah, just rolled out of the circle's edge now. So a long putt.
Huss give you that disc?
I think you can definitely see it in the ladies now that they've loosened up a little bit, and they're I think easing into their game, and I think those jittery nerves in the first few holes have kind of passed. And
yeah, we're halfway through our round now though, so you're hoping that you lose those jitters and warm up a bit sooner. But the other thing that we're fighting at the moment is the fatigue of being on our 4th day of tournament play, and no doubt that there would have been a couple of days practice prior as well. So it does also come down to a bit of endurance after a certain point in time too.
We just caught a glimpse then of Sarah's Heiser flight teammate Tim Bowen just unashamedly taking a selfie there with Sarah mid-round. So we'll probably see that one up on the socials at some point pretty soon. Tim doesn't mind posting a thing or two.
Yeah.
Definitely jump on to his Instagram account to stay in touch with what's going on.
Has there been a lot of social posts from the players this weekend? I don't tend to keep up with all that side of things, so maybe you can give us a bit of an update. Who's hot at the moment on Insta?
Who's hot on Insta? Well, I think the man of the moment really Tim Bowen. I think I can't see anyone else.
He's number one. All right.
No, look, I mean, I think I personally haven't actually been on the socials too much. I've been jumping on the old Aces and Flying Disc Store Instagram, sharing some of the stories of the players and things like that they're posting. Huss here just lining one up from about 11 or 12 metres. Slight headwind.
Oh, yes.
If you don't mind, Huss.
Great putt from Huss.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gave herself a challenge there and she nailed it.
So this hole 12 is definitely the starting hole of a birdie stretch where you really, really want to be taking birds on each of these, especially coming in to the final couple of holes.
Yeah.
Nice and easy there, getting up and down for par. Yeah, beautiful, confident putt there from Huss, and we're going to see a replay here. You just had a feeling, didn't you?
Yeah, you just know sometimes. So you can just see that focus, and it's the commitment, right?
Absolutely. Those Douglas Fears from AGL Discs, absolutely doing well. gripping onto those chains.
Hole 13, par 3, iconic finish.
So another beautiful tree-lined fairway. Really scenic gliding in here as well. Play's pretty challenging though, because you need to keep the disc straight. If you shaping it at all, there's a high chance of hitting one of those trees, and then depending on where you land, your approach shot may be challenging. So I'm typically trying to stay with something pretty straight, a straight flying disc up here, and get as much distance as I can. Tend to land up on the left somewhere, and hopefully have a nice little approach. These girls, again, a bit more distance. We might see them getting right up there.
Yeah, it's 98 metres, relatively flat. But yeah, you're really throwing as straight as you can.
Yeah, so it's hard to get the distance on, a dead straight line, right? So
there's no real advantage to kind of hanging out something to the right or left.
Look, in saying that though, can tend to still save par. I wouldn't imagine this hole's played too hard over the weekend. If you do catch something early, you should be able to, for the most part, get up there.
Yeah, playing as an average of 3 in FPO, so yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty low risk in terms of getting into trouble, but
it's a bit high there. I'm not quite sure what happened. I lost eyes on it.
Yeah, I think she might have just clipped something high and then kicked out to the right there. Shout out to Parkland's Disc Golf sponsoring this hole and serving the community there in South Australia for a few years now.
Yeah, and so talking about SA...
Oh, that's just a beautiful shot.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, absolutely magic. Yeah, she's right up there. Yeah, she's in the circle there.
Pin high, lovely.
Beautiful shot. So SA Open's coming up. I think that's the next major event in a couple of, maybe 3 or 4 weeks' time in the Parklands there. And we have a decent number of players this weekend from SA. So in terms of interstate contingents, I'd say SA is probably the biggest showing here this weekend. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I definitely would agree with that. I mean, you've got our friends there in Mount Gambier, just over the border.
Yeah.
Sometime they might claim them a little bit to be kind of half Victorian.
They are,
Yeah, but definitely the scene in South Australia is just exploding. I think the Parklands course there in the CBD is just doing wonders for the sport. We just had the fortune of working with Glanville Hall Golf Course to install a course on a 9-hole golf course in Semaphore. So that's just kind of north of Adelaide, I guess a little bit closer to Port Adelaide. But yeah, good fun course. I think they're only charging $2 for a round. And I was chatting with the manager there recently, and he said that he's got stats on how many people have been playing. And he said there's been hundreds of rounds going on, and they're running their own kind of fun, putt for points kind of events and things like that, getting families and locals involved. So
yeah, building that community spirit where it's not all the serious competition. It's a great way to get people into the game and raise that awareness, right?
Absolutely.
$2 a game. That was an absolute beautiful approach from Huss there, by the way. $2 to play on a private golf course. I don't think you'd see any complaints about that.
Nope.
Small change. And so we're seeing a lot of families playing out around their local Geelong courses, aren't we? Just as a nice weekend activity.
Yeah, we've had the Barwon Valley Disc Golf Course, which is actually now 10 years old. 10 years old. It was installed in December 2013. So coming up to 10 years old, and yeah, great spot there along the river. And yeah, I mean, now you head down there for a round, and you're always seeing other people playing now, which is fantastic.
See if she can nail this putt for a birdie. Oh, just a bit high.
Just off the top. Definitely not an easy 3. So to get her drive that far down,
Yeah.
She's absolutely nailed that. So just cleaning up for the par. As is Huss after her great approach.
Yeah. They're the type of putts you want. So 10 years for Barwon, so is there going to be some type of celebration event going on?
I think surely.
December.
Anything that involves cake, that's fine. I'm sure we can
Have a bake-off.
we can bake off.
Disc golf themed.
Hole 14, so par
Standard
3.
hole 1.
Standard
isn't
hole
it,
1.
On
yeah.
the course, yeah. So we'd normally
Sponsored
be
by
starting at
Mr.
this end.
Squidgy. Mr. Squidgy.
They've
Can you
been-
enlighten me on that?
Yeah, Mr. Squidgy's been providing lunch. It's the lunch van set up for us each day here. Hot chips and calamari and all that good stuff to fill us up after a long round.
Mr. Squidgy. Great name
Yeah,
for a seafood
yeah.
food truck.
So challenging shot, this one. Quite technical, quite similar to Barwon Valley hole 1, I would say. Bit shorter, but the line's similar.
Huss just shanking that one a little bit out to the right, but she got lucky, managed to get through those trees, and she'll have a little tough, little tricky approach.
That'll be a bit of a flick in. So this, I would have thought, is one of the more aceable holes on the course this weekend. I think there's only been one ace all weekend, and it was on hole 17. Phil Morgan. Have you heard of any others?
I have not. I believe that is the solo ace for the weekend. Sarah
really
just putting that one inside the circle.
Really great drive, and she'll have a good putt there.
Yeah, was it round 2, 3? I think Phil.
It's
round 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, not an easy ace by any.
Another extended
an
hole.
ace is never easy, but I think he was coming in pretty hot there, and because I've got a feeling that probably would have gone OB if it didn't go in the basket, because there is OB behind that basket.
Not
but
too far behind. Yeah.
massive shout out to Mr. Phil Morgan of Park Media.
Yeah. Alright, so let's just see where Huss has ended up. Yeah, she is. She's got a bit of an obstacle there. I'm going to line up a bit of a flick by the look of it. Yeah, so she'll take an easy 3.
Interestingly enough, hole 14 playing is 3.5.
Yeah,
So playing over par on this one. So one of the shorter, more gettable birdieable holes on the course.
Yeah,
But
it's risk reward, right? If you go for it and if you turn out early, or if you catch a tree super early, it can be hard to get back down into the fairway close to the basket. Sarah's given herself a great look at it too.
oof, just a whisker low.
Yeah.
It was right there.
Putting just not as good and consistent as we typically see for Sarah today. But still doing some really good shooting.
That's just cleaning up par.
Yeah.
This is Sarah, and we'll move on to Em's favourite hole.
Yeah. Look, I actually do love this. So it's a standard hole 2, hole 15 for the competition. It's just a straight shot. What is the distance? 85, 90 metres? Nothing too extreme. 87.
Bang in
there
the
we
middle.
go. So bang in the middle. So it's my kind of distance. just, for me, I'm throwing something stable, a bit of shape on it, and hope to fade in towards the basket. So not shown on the fly over here is, the signage for the raised basket that we have, especially for this competition. So it adds an extra layer of depth to the hole. I don't mind that. I actually quite like it. I'm typically, on my drive getting pretty close to the basket on this hole. Yesterday I made a really bad decision to run it probably from further than I should, and hit the bottom of the cage and rolled away, and didn't end well. But this is where you really have to make some decisions, and do you lay up if you're not really right under it or not, or do you go for it? And I think it's got to be part of your confidence and how you're feeling in the zone then and there, right?
Yeah, I've heard a couple of people mentioning that it makes it play a bit more like an island. Now, it has been an island in the past. In a different
Latitude 64.
iteration of the Vic Open.
The smallest of grains handled with the greatest passion.
just getting that basket up a little bit just completely changes it.
Always
people get a little rush of blood and have a run, and all of a sudden they've got another 8-10 meter comebacker and
thrill.
Yeah, if you airball it for sure, but so
because
you can do awesome what I think is fairly safe. It didn't turn out too well for me yesterday. Is the bit of the half run where you're kind of pushing it softly, but you're still going straight at it. So if you miss, you're kind of just hoping to drop. But dropped onto the sign and rolled away.
Yep.
And it kind of rattles you then. So, you find yourself not as far away as you were the first time, but shaken up and not feeling the confidence anymore.
It is the one change to this hole, obviously, is the elevated basket. Just in just the regulation standard course, it's just a normal regulation size height. But Matt managed to shove a longer pole into the ground higher.
And there's typically a little bit of headwind on this hole, but it doesn't really impact too much. Yeah, so great distance there, just out to the left.
So we're just watching Ash's catch cam here, hoping for an ace.
And
oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so that's, look at that money. That's what you want. And you can see there the purple flag from one of the CTP rounds in the days before. And so that's kind of the closest people we're getting.
You can see why this is playing as 2.5 average.
Yeah.
So I'm playing as under par.
Definitely gettable.
Over the weekend for the FPO field.
Yep, definitely gettable. And there was an ace prize on this hole. I guess it's there. Keep it a bit higher and you could run an ace. I think I actually gave it a good run on the practice on Friday. But the danger of that, of course, is you're skipping or fading out quite a way if you miss it.
What was the prize?
I think it was $150 and doubled if you filmed it.
Cool.
Thanks to the hole sponsor on that hole. Yeah. So
the hole spot, $150.
I think
hole
so.
Sponsor.
Was it not?
That's Rad sponsoring that. I had no idea.
Was it not you?
No.
Who
sure was.
Oh.
In fact, I'll
Throwing
tell you
me
what.
off.
I'll tell you right now. We got one more. Well, okay. Obviously, our FPO has just finished up in this hole.
Yeah.
We've got one more round for MPO today. If anyone does ace this, Rad will give them a basket.
Oh, here we go.
I'm saying it right now. This is live.
Boys, I hope you're listening.
It might be a basket from my backyard that's been used, but that's fine. I'll still give it to someone. No.
Are you shipping it for free?
A nice fresh birdie light. Yep, absolutely.
Shipped.
We've got we've got one here. They can take it with them.
Yeah.
Us just taking her time there.
Yeah.
It's only a couple of meters, but she's just doing her routine and very nice confident putt there.
Yeah, and
it's never a gimme on these elevated baskets.
No.
So there's Sarah reaching up to get in there.
But yeah, the signage looks great on that basket, actually, doesn't it?
It does. Again, the event organiser's done a great job in putting all that together.
Nice bright colours with the Rad branding as well. All right, hole 16. Look, I really like this hole for my shot shape because, again, I'm, comfortable throwing, straight to a hyzer type of shot. I'm typically coming into the right side of the yellow basket and just skipping forward a little bit, unless I've overpulled it to the right a bit. The water doesn't come into play too much for me. I guess there have been people over the weekend that have done an early release or maybe some left-handed throwers that have been caught up by that. So it'll be interesting to see if we do get a count on lost discs in this water hazard, but I think the bigger water hazard is hole 18. So for this one, really, I'm aiming towards that red tree, a bit of a laser beam at the red tree and then fading into the left. I think the girls here will do something similar. We'll see how it plays out.
I think you've just summed that up perfectly as well for the majority of the field. Just that red-looking tree down there is just it's a good way to kind of make sure that you're on target. If you aim straight at it, just let the disc naturally kind of fade to the left for your right-hand backhanders. And
you just have to not overthink it, right? So if you start thinking about the water or the OB on the right, then you start doing silly things. But just look at that red tree, visualise your flight path and go for it. But are you trying to get around the back of the tree or the front of the tree?
No, like you said, just
the front.
Laser beam pretty much straight at that tree and just let the disc hyzer in front of it, hyzer out and kind of punch forward.
Yeah. Maybe a bit low there, so it's not going to hyzer as much as she probably wants. Oh, but it got skippy. Yeah, nice.
Dance along.
Yeah.
Beautiful ground play there.
Yeah.
I think Sarah knows she's got away with one there.
You got to take the luck when you get it.
Absolutely. And again, just shout out to Ballarat's weather today. Just looking absolutely beautiful out there.
Got to say as well, the sign on the side of this tee pad, I don't know if you saw it. Bit of a joke with Matty Faz. He's going to be doing commentary on the MPO card later today. Look, he had a bit of a challenge with a water hazard hole at Mount Gambier end of last year, and we've had a bit of a fun play at him on this one. So read it if you see it. But I think he threw into the water a few times on that hole.
I think we might have had a chat about it on the tee off as well. I think was it a 13?
It was a 13.
I think he's changed his name on the Melbourne Disc Golf chat group on Facebook to, is it Matt 13er or? I can't remember.
So Matty 13er, Farina being his last name. So yeah, great guy, good to have a laugh with.
Yep, and shout out to the Stony Creek crew for sponsoring this hole. Just down there in Melbourne under the Westgate Bridge. Great community of disc golfers there. Enjoying their new, well, not so new now, but their course that Mr. Oscar Felberg and Jacob Cruden were working on, and I got the pleasure of working with them to make that one a full reality with tee pads and what have you.
Formalise it, yeah.
Absolutely. Sydney Maribyrnong there jumping on board, and it's definitely serving the local community there in the west. Fun
course and getting more challenging with a lot more trees being planted in and growing up as well, becoming more and more of a technical course. Yep, nice easy upshot from Huss. Really growing crew out at Stony. They have just quite large numbers at their regular leagues and socials out there. Really massive community, really fun vibes.
I think Melbourne in general, and I only speak of this because it's kind of local to us in Geelong, but nudging 150, 200 members now.
Yeah.
I think the goal this year was 200 members for a disc golf club. So it's massive.
Yep.
It's huge.
Yep, massive growth.
Oh, just a little low again, Sarah. Yep. As you can see, this is why Sarah's sitting at 6 under par and had a really hot round yesterday of leg 4 shooting a 965 over round.
Yeah, if she converted some of these putts today, she'd be, flying
beautiful
through
little pan away there to the local wildlife.
Yeah, and you do
little
notice
swans
that.
and little goslings swimming around there.
Walking around the course, it's pretty quiet. Again, it's a massive parklands area. There's lots of people, lots of walkers, people with all kinds of sports and activities going on, but so spacious, and you hear a lot of the birds as you're walking around. Really nice and relaxing.
Just to mix it up. The road
So we're already at hole 17. We're moving pretty quick this morning with these ladies being a smaller group. This is one of the changed holes, right? So in this case, we haven't moved the positioning of the basket. The tee pad's over on the right. It's a bit further away, and it does make the line a lot more challenging.
Yep.
We've got OB behind the basket. The road on the side is OB. Left if you're doing a turnover and you fade out. So there's all kinds of things going on here. Well, do you know what shot Phil took to get his ace on this hole? I didn't actually see it.
No, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know
Don't know if it was a turnover or a sidearm.
Maybe Phil can
backhand.
jump into the
Yeah.
live stream there and let everyone know all about it.
Look, I've been trying to play, and again, this is one of those holes that I nailed on the practice round, but just could not convert it over the weekend. Just trying to go with, actually with a Renegade. Got to try not get too attached to that disc, so I don't think they make them anymore. Point it out to the left and hope it kind of just fades, turns over just slightly and goes pretty straight up the guts. Yeah, nailed it a practice round. The last few days I've found trees and OB, so it hasn't played too kindly to me. I know Chris Hart's had some challenges with this. He was out trying to practice it last night, and this morning he's told me he does not want to walk away today without parring this hole.
I did. I was driving home, leaving last night, and he was out there. He said I played it 5 times until I got it right.
Yeah.
We then proceeded to go and play half the course again. I don't know where that bloke gets his energy from, but so Sarah here on the Oz Discs sponsored hole.
Yeah, so, and look, I have seen a few people just try and go up the right side with more of a hyzer line. She's going for the turnover, found the tree. Yeah,
that's the main tree that divides the fairway.
A lot of people are doing this. Yep.
Had a nice shape to it, but yeah, just a little bit too straight.
So we've come, on this competition layout, we start with a few quite technical hard holes, and it opens up. It gets into a bit of an easier par birdie run, and then these last 2 holes to finish are quite challenging. I've struggled with them quite a bit over this weekend.
And Huss has negotiated that tree, and she's a little bit short, but
not a lot of distance. So something didn't get executed right there, but yeah. She's open.
It is an interesting dynamic having the course start where it did on hole 6.
I liked it.
Yeah, because it's from the regular course that you would play, it's a different dynamic where you kind of those initial kind of middle range of holes are the more difficult ones. So that's what you're thinking about. I've got to get through there. But when you're starting off there, it changes that kind of mindset about what am I going to do, how am I going to play the course. And a lot of people I know were just kind of, I've just got to get through these tougher holes initially at the beginning and get my pars, and then I'll bring it home in the end with a wet sail and take my opportunities to get these birdies to wrap it up in that little stretch there.
Yeah.
But again, it puts pressure on yourself. If you're bogeying early and you're not playing particularly well, then there's even more pressure to kind of make it up.
Yeah, it sets the tone for the day, those first couple of holes. I personally, I'm kind of just in off of a bit of a break, so I'm pretty dusty. I'm up and down. If you look at the scores for the weekend, you'll see that for me. But I try to just play each hole as it comes. I don't try and put any expectations on this is what I need to get on this hole, and I'll start these 3 well, and then opens up from there. You've just got to, I think, really to have the right mental game, you've just got to play each shot as it comes, not think ahead, not think behind. You can really get yourself into a bit of a trap. But everybody has different strategies. Do you tend to try and visualise and strategise how you're going to play the whole course, or do you just take it as it comes?
Yeah, well, unfortunately I haven't been able to kind of be playing too many tournaments of lately.
Yeah.
With work and just the family life has been a little bit busy. So I do get a little bit of FOMO this weekend from playing. But just speaking of being dusty before, I'd just like to shout out the piano bar in Ballarat last night. So I might not be dusty on the course, but off the course, big shout out to the piano bar there. It was great to participate in the bingo last night. And shout out to Daisy Chains and Gabriella Labucci, the drag queens. Show on was fantastic.
Piano Bar is such a great venue, so we've got that in Geelong and
I believe there's
Ballarat
one
as well.
in Bendigo as well.
Yeah, I think there is as well. Yeah, had plenty of great nights there.
I think we maybe need a sponsor for the Vic Open.
Yeah, great putt.
Great confident putt.
Yeah.
Huss here looking to do the same to clean up the par. Beautiful.
Bang. Yeah.
If you're watching at home,
to come through clean at the end.
Absolutely. And if you're watching at home, just take note of these guys and the way that they're putting. And they look like they're tap-ins, but they're never really tap-ins from that distance. And
this is latitude
they're
64.
doing a great job in showing just how
the smallest of grains
helps to be confident
with the greatest passion.
that distance.
Always trying to improve.
Yeah, and that confidence
always trying to be better.
Doesn't come from nowhere, right? They're putting in the work behind the scenes. They're practicing. They're out there.
For the player and the sport.
Really working on their game.
Because we want to make
at this level
golf
of players
awesome for you.
I saw Sarah shared the other night some videos of putting practice with and trying to make some fun out of it as well, so it's not all hard work, right? But you got to get out there doing the repetition, really just get comfortable. It shouldn't be something that's feeling foreign or new that you're trying to figure out as you're playing or just in the lead up to a comp. It should be something that you're just quite comfortable with, and that's where the confidence is coming from to start with, but then committing to it. And I think a lot of players in the disc golf field are focusing on a chain link even in the basket of where you're aiming to throw that putter, getting your foot right. I've got a bit of a routine of, I put my foot into this position, I look at my disc in this way, I look at the chain link, and, whether or not my disc is going to go in is if I'm still looking at that chain link when I've let go of the disc. If I've looked away, at any stage hesitated, or got too excited, your body's moving with your eyes.
Absolutely.
Beautiful drive there, straight over the water. So hole 18, talk to me about this one. What are your thoughts on this hole and how to play it?
Yeah, look, I mean, if you just watched Sarah drive, I think that's how you play it.
Yeah.
You've really got a couple of trees here off the tee, which you want to either kind of go to the right of, like we can see both the ladies doing here, and Huss has executed that well. Just needs some legs to get around the tree.
Yeah, you want to be in front of the tree, right? You don't want to be pinched in.
No. Then you're in trouble. Then you're kind of looking at options of kind of maybe having to go over the water to get around that corner.
Yes.
But basically, as you saw in the fly through there, the hole does kind of bend around to the right. And obviously we have quite a bit of water there on that right-hand side, which you want to avoid. But yeah, you really kind of, off the tee, if you want to get that distance, you need to kind of hang it just slightly over the water.
Yeah, you have to take
and
take your chance and ride the water on the hyzer shot. But
Absolutely.
in the MPO, I was actually quite surprised watching the MPO cards come through yesterday afternoon that not as many went the long over the water carry as I thought. Chris Finn, I think, did the best shot of that out of the ones I saw. He just absolutely nailed it through the guts. A couple of the other guys tried but flipped them over or hit trees. Obviously it's the risk reward, but if you can get across that side, you're cutting off a lot of distance.
It's been a thirsty lake, that one. I did see some people getting wet yesterday and walking out with a stack of discs that people have lost in there. So look, it's it fares well as a finishing hole in this layout that we're playing, because it's definitely very birdable, but you can get into a bit of strife as well. And I know John Cranny had a bit of trouble in the first couple of rounds, but managed to get a par in the final round and take out the MA50 division.
Yeah.
So shout out to him.
Great player, John, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I mean, I think it's. I also shout out to Riley Sanders as well, the local Ballarat disc golfer, who is an absolute monster lefty, and he was putting. He canned the eagle in the first round.
Wow.
Just absolute regulation hyzer for him, which I can tell you right now is just ridiculously far. Huss just leading out to the left there a little bit.
She had a good shape, but it just faded out at the end. And obviously there's a bit of OB behind the basket there and around to the side, but she's okay where she is. Yeah, so how many eagles have we had in the competition this weekend? I don't think there's been a lot, has there?
I don't know. I know Patrick Graham, another local, who ended up winning. Oof, it's going to test me. Could have been maybe
2, maybe?
2. We'll check. I do if he a eagle or it was your other monster lefty. The dude's about 1'15".
Yeah.
And absolutely mashed one into the circle.
Sarah's lining up a flick. Is it going to get the skippy? Yeah, a bit short, but she's got a putt.
Yeah, not too sure how many eagles were made on this hole throughout the weekend, but I was just looking there at Patrick Graham, who just took threes on it every single time, and I just think that's why it helped him to win.
Yeah, and so it's definitely a gettable birdie, but you have to just get into a good position on your first shot. I think that's what it comes down to. What was the average on the hole? Because certainly, if there's a high chance of not executing that first shot, and you're really looking at a bogey or worse from there.
Yeah, so the FPO field is actually under par, so it's playing as a 3.5. So
yeah, nice and clean.
Yeah, absolutely nice and clean golf there. And just in comparison, the MPO field, interestingly, playing as a 4.16. So obviously,
taking some more risks.
Not paying off.
Yeah, there was a lot of wet discs yesterday in the MPO cards coming through.
It's funny what a little bit of pressure does for you.
Yeah.
Does to you, and especially on that last hole where people are probably taking few more risks than they usually would, or having a last little run at it. So.
And a bit more pressure builds up there. Yesterday there was a lot of people sitting there and watching. I certainly felt the pressure of that, on top of the fatigue of just being the last hole, right? So
Huss having a little dig there at the 3. That was a safe run, and she's just a couple of metres there for a tap-in par.
So this is where, running the longer putt from here with the OB slightly downhill behind can get into your head a bit. Yeah.
Sarah really wanted to finish off with a bird there.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Huss is going to tap out first and let Sarah finish up, and I think we might cross to someone down there. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Really well played by the ladies today, and I think I don't think that was the hot round of their weekends. Just waiting for the scores to pop up.
Sarah, congratulations. How does it feel?
Thank you. It feels pretty good. A little bit disappointed with my round, but thinking overall over the whole weekend, can't complain about that. So, yeah, pretty stoked.
Yeah, look, I certainly wouldn't be complaining about 2 of the highest rated female FPO rounds ever in Australian history yesterday and over the course of this weekend. How does that feel?
Pretty good. I've been kind of, like I mentioned before, battling a bit of injury from the start of the year, so to be able to come out and play some of the best disc golf I've played has been, awesome.
Some of the best disc golf anyone's played there, I'll correct you there. How are we celebrating this?
The 8-hour drive home. I've got 8 hours to celebrate in the car, so yeah.
Fantastic. Well, there's nothing more to say, but ladies and gentlemen, your 2-time back-to-back Vic Open champion, Sarah Lee.
Yeah, it's a really humble player, Sarah, but it's just such a focused athlete and really promising. I think she's still got
Absolutely.
more improving she's going to do, I think, and it's just going to be amazing to see.
I mean, there's a lake right there. Why isn't she jumping in it? I think someone needs to throw her in that lake. And, cool the putter off. And if it was always here, it'd be nice in the tradition to jump in that lake with all the duck poo. But no, look, she's 950 rated average event.
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
huge. I mean, she's
player.
already an 893 rated player. There's no doubt that she's going to bump that up after this event and definitely enter into the 900 plus rated as a player. So the future's bright.
The future is bright.
Emma, it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate with you.
Likewise, fun doing it. I think really great that we are doing this now for the growth of the sport and being able to do it for the ladies as well, not just the MPO, which I think the focus has been on historically, given numbers. But we're seeing more and more women come through. Hoping we have bigger fields at the next ones in the women's as well. What are the plans for the rest of the day?
I'm going to open the shop and sell some plastic.
Yeah, get out there and sell some plastic. Yeah, so we're going to be handing over for the MPO live streaming as well. There's going to be a bit of a break in between there so that the camera crew and everyone can get themselves set up and organised. I think the men's lead card's scheduled to tee off around 12, is that right?
I believe, 12:03 it's scheduled for.
Yeah.
So that's in about an hour's time.
Yeah.
So like you said, it'll give the camera crew a chance to have a little quick break, and then we'll be back in with some more live streaming with Mr. Alan Brunstine and Maddie Faz on the cans.
Himself.
So prepare for some shenanigans from those two. No, I'm sure it'll be good.
Congrats to the ladies for the rounds. Absolutely amazing throwing, Sarah. Really great to see. The other thing is Ash. We've got to thank Ash and Oscar for their camera work.
Absolutely. Stellar job there. The guys are
stellar
using new gear. They haven't been on before, and absolutely stellar job there. We got some great angles, and and shout out again to Disc Golf Victoria and Ballarat Disc Sports, Flying Disc Store, Latitude 64 for jumping on as major sponsors, and very, very exciting footage, and I've got a feeling that there's going to be some very inspired people out there to go out and putt and better their game. And congratulations to the female disc golfers for putting on a show.
Yeah, and thanks to you as well, Fergs. You've done a lot this weekend, and I know for the sport in general. So it's obviously we're really lucky to have you based back down in Victoria with us.
It's my pleasure.
Moving. Yeah,
absolutely my pleasure. And we're going to see some highlights now.
So I reckon I'm going to come and follow around with the MPO lead card and see what they do as well for the afternoon. Yeah, just a few missed putts. I guess we all have them. We all have a few missed putts on our rounds, even our best rounds, right?
Absolutely.
You come away, that's what keeps you coming back, right? You come away thinking, oh, if only I got that one.
Just like this one.
Boom.
That's exactly what brings you back.
Yeah, it's those moments.
Yeah, so in the end, +1 and +3 for that final round there.
Yeah,
from
really,
ladies.
really great rounds actually. So, given they left a few out there, it would have been nice to see some negatives, but nice close battle with them for this round, similar to the first.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having us. I believe it's probably going to close up pretty soon, but stay tuned for in about an hour when the MPO kick off.
Yeah, and thanks to Toff in the streaming room and Matt Hill again for all of your work this weekend.
This is latitude 64. The smallest of grains handled with the greatest passion. Always trying to improve, always trying to be better. Out of curiosity, excitement, thrill. For the player and the sport. Because we want to make disc golf awesome for you.